So yesterday, Netflix's Twitter, along with YouTube's Comic Book Nation and other places, and then officially this morning, Power Rangers official and Netflix official on YouTube decided to release the trailer to the upcoming Netflix special Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, which is basically the 30th anniversary special of the entire, for the entire series. What's interesting about this special is it's going to feature David Yost and Walter Jones, who played Billy and Zach in Power Rangers in the original Mighty Morphin era, at least for the first couple of seasons. It's going to feature them, kind of as the focal point here. It's bringing back Rocky. I can't think of his character right now, the actor's name right now. It's bringing back Kat, played by Catherine Sutherland. She's being brought back. They're bringing back Johnny Bosch or Johnny Yo. I can't think of his name right now. Adam, the guy who played Adam, and the girl that played Aisha. They're bringing them back, but they're in different roles, like SPD-like roles, something like that. I'm not really sure. It's SPA or something. I can't really think about what that could be. But they're almost in that SPD-like, role that we saw the SPD Rangers in during this Power Rangers SPD. Anyway, apparently, from what I'm understanding, this is... I can't really say if it's canon or not canon to the original continuity and everything. Because if you watch Power Rangers, if you watch the original Zordon arc, as they would call it, from Mighty Morphin to the end of In Space, then you would kind of understand that the villain that's going to be in this, Rita Repulsa, was changed back into a normal human being along with Lord Zed, at the end of that. At the end of In Space, anyway, which was the end of the Zordon arc. So, you're wondering to yourself, how is she back and everything? How is this possible? And it turns out that in the continuity of Power Rangers, whether this is canon or not, she is responsible for, this being Rita that is, responsible for Trini's death. We know that the real actress Tootie Chang died tragically in an automobile accident like about almost 20 years ago, I believe. And so what they're doing here is they're incorporating a real life situation into the story, but story-wise using it as a means to get over the villain as being more vicious and evil and twisted than before. Thus explaining why we don't see, Trini in the film, in the special, but we do see her daughter and everything. And pretty much the plot is, one, the daughter wants revenge on Rita for killing Trini, her mom. Rita, on the other hand, is inventing a time portal to go back in time to stop Zordon from making the original MMPR team, I should say, not MMM, but MMPR team, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team, as they once were. Rita wants to go back in time and kill, we can assume the original team of Zach, Billy, Jason, Kimberly, and Trini, before Zordon finds them and turns them into Power Rangers. So that's the plot of it from the villain's perspective. And again, like I said, from the hero's perspective, you have Trini's daughter wanting to get revenge for Rita killing her mom. Again, kind of doing something similar to what many people are saying is identical, if not similar, to what Marvel did with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Because, if you don't know what I'm talking about there, in Wakanda Forever, they had to work in the untimely passing of Chad Boswick, who played T'Challa, if you will, who played T'Challa in Black Panther, or was T'Challa the Black Panther in the MCU, they had to work in his death and kind of explain maybe, in continuity, in story, how it happened. You know, I think by the fact that he died being a hero or something like that, defending his people. So they had to work in the death somehow. And that's exactly what's going on here with Power Rangers. They're basically working in a real life tragedy, an untimely tragedy, into the story, but doing it by saying it was the villain. It was Rita Repulsa that was responsible for Trini's death in the continuity in the story. Now, what's interesting is, as we see in the trailer, and I'm not going to show you the trailer or anything like that, but I will provide a link to it at the end here, at the end screen for you guys to check it out and all that. But what we see is that Rita basically proclaims she has a new body. It's a new robotic body. It's the same actress that played her and voiced her, in the original series. The same actress. And, she wants revenge. Now, what's interesting is in the trailer, you could tell that Billy and Zach, they're kind of like surprised that, Rita's back, because, again, if this is in continuity somewhat, to the original MMPR to In Space timeline, then they would know, or would have heard that Rita is, not a bad guy anymore. She's just somebody that's dancing on the moon with Lord Zed, or dancing somewhere in peace. He's living out a normal life or something like that, and that she wouldn't be back, like this. So, they're even surprised, by that. So, to me, it's going to play, trying to figure out, along with the characters, trying to figure out, okay, how is this possible, since we, like them, know that, that shouldn't be. It's going to be an interesting ride, to say the least, with this. I'm assuming going to be 1 hour special or something. I'm not really sure. 1 hour special, maybe hour and a half. I don't really know. I mean, it could be a movie for all we know, and they're just calling it a special for the 30th anniversary. We're not really sure. But yeah, she's basically out for revenge. She's got a new robotic body. She's got some revamped versions of original Minions we've seen from the show, and I think even from the movie from 1995. So she's out for revenge, and one of the things, like I said, that she's planning to do is, use a time portal that she's creating to go back in time and kill the original MMPR team before Zordon has a chance to recruit them. So, looks, so outside of that, and and everything, it looks really good. Overall, I mean, the trailer, that is, is making this special look really good. Really basically putting an emphasis on how, important this 30th anniversary is, because, we've seen how big the budgets can get with Power Rangers, movies or specials, that they kind of, like, even with the regular series. Like, I think it was with Megaforce and Super Megaforce, when they adapted, or at least tried to adapt, the original Japanese version of the legendary battle and everything. They upped the budget a little bit more than usual to kind of emphasize how important this was. We've seen them, of course, up the visuals and the budget and everything when it came to the 95 and 97 Power Ranger movies. So it's not a surprise that Netflix, especially, I would say 28 to, I would say, 26 to 28 years later after those two theatrical films, and the way technology has advanced so much, I'm not surprised that Netflix is able to give us, this kind of a anniversary special / movie that they're going to be doing on April 19th. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this to come out, because, I've been a fan for a long time. I think since it's come out originally, I've been a fan. I know that its popularity was widespread and felt even in my high school, because I had two friends that I was in class with, same freshman class and everything, and they wore 2 Power Ranger masks, if you will, as part of, like, I think Spirit Week. It was off Spirit Week, freshman sophomore year. They were wearing 2 Power Ranger masks and everything. And ironically, the ones they were wearing were the Yellow Ranger and the White Ranger. You know, who were portrayed, of course, by 2 actors and actors, by, you know, 2 actors, by 2 actors, actresses, if you will, that are no longer with us. That, of course, Yellow Ranger being, as I mentioned, Trudy Trang, and of course the White Ranger, you know, Jason David Frank. So, yeah, you know, it's to look back on that and see how popular it was, even with high schoolers at the time. You know, it doesn't surprise me that a lot of us older fans would be, you know, more into it, you know, than even the new generation of Power Ranger fans, because, you know, we have an understanding. You know, even like I said, us fans that, you know, were into it back in high school, we have an understanding of why this is so important and all that in the long run. Now we don't know whether or not Jason David Frank did make a cameo in a flashback, because we do see in the flashbacks, you know, the Green Ranger along with the Pink Ranger and the, you know, and the original Red Ranger. You know, we'll assume it's the original Pink Ranger and Red Ranger. We don't know if Austin St. John or Amy Jo Johnson, or even before his passing, Jason David Frank, are going to make an appearance or anything cameo-wise. But if they do, I'll say this, they're keeping it a very heavily guarded secret to really surprise us, because I think if you look at the Saban Power Ranger movie that they did with Lion Gates, you know, not that long ago, you know, the more dark style, more, I guess you could say, Justice League, MCU inspired, like Power Rangers. You know, nobody expected Jason David Frank or Amy Jo Johnson to cameo the way they did in the crowd, you know, towards the end of the film, which apparently, from what I understand, got a huge reaction. It got a huge reaction the way it did when people first saw that in the theaters. So, you know, that moment right there was kept very, very heavily guarded, you know, from the public and all that. I mean, they heard rumors and everything, but they weren't totally sure if those rumors were true. You know, because, you know, this movie was going to be, you know, a whole new cast, a reboot and all that. They, you know, didn't know whether or not they were going to see any of the originals, and lo and behold, you know, in that one appearance, they got 2 of the originals, 2 of the most popular originals, if you will. Which, you know, I thought it was great to see, because at least you're acknowledging, you know, where this all started from by bringing them in. So I don't know if we're going to have the same situation here and all that. We'll have to see. But obviously you could tell that, you know, where this is taking place and everything. And again, this is what's interesting about it, because, you know, in the original MMPR to Time Force run, we know that 2 things happen with the Yellow Ranger. We know that in the 2-part transfer of power, Trini transferred her powers to Aisha. You know, we know that. And then we know that Aisha gave up her powers to... what's her name again? I gotta look up her name, guys. I do apologize. Hold on. She gave up her powers to... Let me see. Not that one. Come on. No. Okay, here we go. She gave up her powers to, let me see, Tanya. She gave her powers up to Tanya, which really kind of like threw people out of whack. Like, you know, didn't, you know, Aisha go back in time to get this, you know, her part of the Zeo crystal and everything? I don't really know. I don't know if she went back in time or not. I think when you really, you know, get down to it, with that moment, that, you know, she didn't go back in time. she went back. What happened is, I think her quest to get her Zeo crystal, left her in the present, while the others left her in the. Well, the others had to, I think, travel in time or something. I'm not really sure, to get theirs. But yeah, I think hers was more in the present, where she was able to get hers than anything else, which is why she was able to switch places with Tanya and all that. But yeah, the thing is, what's interesting, getting back to what I was saying, is that in transfer of power, Tanya was, not Tanya, but Aisha was given the powers by Trini. The sword, that power sword, whatever it was, transferred the powers from Jason, Zach, and Trini over to Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. So it makes you, kind of curious as to, okay, how did Trini get her powers back? But again, if this is any indication of what we've seen in Power Rangers in the past, because there is one episode from, I think it's In Space, where Adam has his old morpher. Yeah, he has his old original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger morpher, and he uses it, and he's still able to morph with it, although it's going to cause him significant damage, if nearly kill him. If he doesn't, demorph and all that. So, to me, if he's able to still have his, morpher in that continuity, and then of course we've seen with like Forever Red, which was as part of Wild Force, and then of course what we've seen later on, if any of those, which again, Wild Force I think is in the same continuity, but it's kind of like a soft reboot where it's like, it's a new beginning, but it's in the same world, if you will. You have to wonder. You have to wonder if maybe, after Zordon sacrificed himself, all the morphers and everything for all the Power Ranger teams that were under him, past, present, and even future, you have to wonder if a lot of the morphers got restored. Basically got the power restored to them, which is why the Rangers are able to use them. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of, honestly, when it comes to how, later on we see Jason in Forever Red, and we see Adam once again using the Mighty Morphin abilities or Mighty Morphin coins to morph. So it makes you wonder if that's because Zordon, when he released his magic, had, what's his name? I can't even think of it. Andros. Yeah, I was going to look it up, but Andros just came to me. When Zordon had Andros destroy his time capsule, which he was trapped in, you have to wonder if the power he had, the magic he had, helped restore the coins and all that, all the morphers back to the original state of being being utilized, being able to be utilized when needed. So you have to wonder. You have to wonder and all that. But then again, there is the argument that this could be an alternate universe. Like, this is a universe that's identical, in some ways to the original, but with slight differences. You have to wonder. You have to wonder if that's the case. I'm not really sure. I mean, from what I've understood, there is some indication that might be it. Again, we can't really say. But it'll be interesting to find out. It'll be interesting to find out down the line. Maybe you guys can correct me in the live chat, in the live chat over here to write of me here on YouTube and all that, as well as in the comments. Let me know exactly, what's going on here, whether or not it's sort of in the same continuity, somewhat, or if it's in, an altered version of the continuity, but similar to the original. Let me know about that. But overall though, guys, I'm looking forward to this. I cannot wait for April 19th to show up, because I know a lot of fans, like I said, that grew up on it since they were kids, and even grew up on it when they were in high school and all that. Are thrilled to see this, and thrilled to see this kind of a unique set of Rangers, because Here you have, Walter Jones as Zach for the first time. He's even admitted this, that for the first time working with some of these people, like he does talk about that, he was on set with the guy that plays Rocky, Steve Carradine, I think, Steve Carradine. And, he says that he was on set with him, but he never got to be on screen with him until now. So that's an interesting situation, interesting tidbit to find out about, as well as I'm pretty sure the same goes with Kathleen Sutherland, because Kathleen came in long after Walter and Austin St. John and Trudy Trang were gone. So so you have to suffice that the same goes for her and everything. But in the end, though, I'm really, like I said, I'm really looking forward to this and seeing how they incorporate everything, whether or not this is in the same continuity, but years later, maybe many years later, or if it's in a alternate continuity that's identical in most aspects except a few differences here and there. I'll have to see, but I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how this all plays out and how this does kind of interconnect possibly with the Power Ranger timeline of that time, the MMPR to time to in space, I should say, not Time Force, but in space. You have to wonder how that's going to connect and all that in the long run. And maybe if they do explain that, when Zordon sacrificed himself, that it restored all the power to the power morphers, to the coins and all that. Because one thing we do notice in the trailer is we do see Alpha. Obviously, he's voiced by someone different, or if it is the same actor, obviously the voice got older. But we do see the tube, which would contain Zordon, cracked, thus symbolizing that this has to take place in that timeline, in that continuity of, of Mighty Morphin to in space and somewhat even presently. You have to kind of, have to assume that is the case there, and everything, and it does play into, like I said, maybe the power coins and morphers being restored when he had Andros do that. But again, we'll have to see. We'll see how it interworks with all those and even the present ones, and like I said, just go from there. I mean, we do get a lot of fan films. If you're not, not if you're not, but it could be. Let me right. All right, got a little tongue tied there. But like I said, I do know we get a lot of fan films that pretty much, play into the Power Rangers mythos. Have them cross over with like Street Fighter and stuff like that and everything. So we know that they do those kind of things. We know that they kind of do those kind of things and all that. So, yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting how this film plays into a lot of stuff Power Ranger wise, because we do know that when they did Megaforce, like I said, they did that reunion. Thus, it kind of proving that it connected everything into one continuity. But then, of course, we had, I don't know what it was. What was it? Ninja Storm, not Ninja Storm, but Ninja Steel. They had all the Rangers show up there for a reunion. That's kind of playing into the fact that, again, it's all in one continuity. So again, you have to wonder where this, from a timeline perspective, in that continuity, if it is part of it, which it seems like it could be. I'm not saying it isn't, but you have to wonder where it's going to play in. Is it taking place in present day? Is it taking place somewhere after in space? You have to wonder. You have to really wonder. So, anyway, though, I'm looking forward to it. I thought the trailer did a great job in hyping it up. I know that Black Nerd Comedy, Andre Meadows, and I definitely know that Linkara, Lewis Lovehawk, is going to be looking forward to it, because, this is something that, we've seen a lot of reunions in the past, but this one definitely makes it feel like it's more special, because out of all the reunions we've had in the past, we've never had one like this. So, again, really, really looking forward to it and seeing how they play with everything here, and again, how the entire story connects and everything in the long run within the entire continuity, if it is part of the one continuity that still goes on, believe it or not, to this day. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video. You will get an audio podcast version of this at BW Roses discussions on all your favorite audio podcast platforms, especially at Pandora. But you won't, not at Pandora, but okay, let me rewind that. Alright. What I said there was, you will get an audio version of this at all your favorite audio podcast platforms. Especially, you'll get an audio version at Spotify, but not at Pandora. That's what I was trying to say. You will also be able to check me out at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get anywhere else. Also, check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses with a $1, $3 tier. Also, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 and at Cash App at BW Roses98. Also, check me out at deviantart.com/BVW1979. And also, click on the upper left-hand corner here at the end screen if you're watching on YouTube to check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. But guys, give me your thoughts. Are you looking forward to this new Power Ranger special celebrating 30 years? What are your thoughts on it? Where do you think it might connect, continuity-wise, timeline-wise, if you will, if it's all taking place within the same continuity? Or do you think it's an alternate one? Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next time, I'm out.